Have you ever noticed how some people seem to stay strong, active, and youthful well into their 70s and 80s, while others start to lose their strength, energy, and independence as early as their 50s? It's not just luck. It's not just genetics. And it's definitely not inevitable aging. The truth is, one of the biggest reasons so many people lose muscle, feel weaker, and struggle with daily life as they age comes down to something called sarcopenia. Now, if you haven't heard that word before, sarcopenia simply means age-related muscle loss. It starts creeping up on us quietly, sometimes as early as our 40s, and if we don't do something about it, it can rob us of the ability to do the things we love, from traveling, to gardening, to playing with our grandchildren. But here's the good news. You don't have to accept it. And believe it or not, something as simple and delicious as eating the right kinds of cheese can actually play a powerful role in reversing muscle loss and keeping you strong, mobile, and independent. Yes, cheese. Not just any cheese though. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 specific cheeses that are proven to help rebuild muscle, fight sarcopenia, and keep your body vibrant and capable at any age. And by the end of this video, you're going to see cheese in a whole new light. Before you think this is just another nutrition video, let me ask you something. When was the last time you enjoyed a slice of real, high-quality cheese without guilt? Most of us have been taught that cheese is bad, that it's too fatty, too salty, or that it clogs your arteries. But the truth is, certain cheeses are nutritional powerhouses. They're packed with high-quality protein, muscle-building amino acids, and important nutrients like calcium and vitamin K2 that support not just your muscles, but also your bones, your hormones, and even your brain. When you eat the right cheeses in the right way, you're not just treating yourself to something tasty, you're giving your body the raw materials it needs to repair, rebuild, and thrive. Think about it. Muscle is the foundation of your independence. It's what allows you to get up from a chair, climb stairs, carry groceries, or even hug your loved ones. Without muscle, everything becomes harder. That's why losing it is so dangerous. In fact, research shows that sarcopenia dramatically increases the risk of falls, fractures, and even mortality. But here's what most people don't realize: building muscle isn't just about lifting weights. Yes, exercise is important, but food is the other half of the equation. You can work out every day, but if your diet doesn't supply enough protein and the right nutrients, your body won't be able to build or repair muscle properly. And that's where cheese comes in. The first cheese I want to talk about is one you've probably had before, but you may not have realized just how powerful it can be for your muscles: cottage cheese. Now, cottage cheese might not sound glamorous, but don't underestimate it. Cottage cheese is one of the richest natural sources of casein protein, a slow-digesting protein that provides your muscles with a steady supply of amino acids over several hours. That means if you eat cottage cheese in the evening, your body will actually be repairing and rebuilding muscle while you sleep. Think about how incredible that is. Most foods give you a quick hit of protein that's gone in a couple of hours, but cottage cheese works like a drip feed for your muscles all night long. That's why bodybuilders and athletes have been eating cottage cheese for decades. It's not just tradition, it's science. On top of that, cottage cheese is also rich in leucine, one of the key amino acids that literally switches on the process of muscle protein synthesis. Without enough leucine, your body struggles to actually build muscle, no matter how much protein you eat. So when you have a serving of cottage cheese, you're not only giving your body the raw materials it needs, you're flipping the switch that tells your muscles to grow. And the best part, cottage cheese is incredibly versatile. You can eat it plain, mix it with fruit, use it as a topping, or even blend it into smoothies. It's one of those foods that fits into almost any diet. But let's move on, because cottage cheese is just the beginning. The second cheese I want to share with you is Parmesan. Yes, that hard, nutty, savory cheese that makes everything taste better, from pasta to salads. Parmesan is a true superfood when it comes to fighting sarcopenia. Why? Because it's not just rich in protein, it's also packed with calcium and phosphorus, two minerals that work together to strengthen both your muscles and your bones. See, one of the dangers of aging isn't just losing muscle. It's the double punch of losing muscle and bone at the same time. That's what leads to frailty and falls. Parmesan helps protect you on both fronts. Even more impressive, Parmesan is loaded with vitamin K2, a nutrient most people are deficient in. Vitamin K2 is like a traffic cop for calcium. It directs calcium to the right places, your bones and your muscles, instead of letting it pile up in your arteries, where it can cause damage. And here's something fascinating. The protein in Parmesan is highly bioavailable, meaning your body can absorb and use it more efficiently than protein from many other foods. That means every bite counts. Parmesan is also naturally lower in lactose than other dairy products, so even people who struggle with lactose intolerance often do well with Parmesan. Imagine sprinkling a little Parmesan on your vegetables or eggs and knowing you're not just making your meal more delicious, you're actively protecting your strength and independence. Let's talk about the third cheese on my list, and this one might surprise you. Feta cheese. Feta is traditionally made from sheep or goat milk, and that makes a big difference. Sheep and goat milk have a slightly different protein and fat structure compared to cow's milk, and many people find them easier to digest. But beyond that, feta is a fantastic source of conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA, a natural fatty acid that's been shown to help preserve lean muscle mass and even support fat loss. Think about that. A cheese that helps you build muscle and burn fat at the same time. That's pretty powerful. Feta is also rich in B vitamins, especially B12, which is critical for energy production and for keeping your nervous system healthy. And here's something most people don't know. Your nervous system and your muscles are deeply connected. In fact, muscle loss is often accelerated by problems with the nerves that signal your muscles to contract. By supporting your nervous system with nutrients like B vitamins, feta helps keep those signals strong, which means your muscles stay active and responsive. And of course, feta brings that tangy, delicious flavor that can transform a salad or omelette into something special. So not only are you nourishing your body, you're also making healthy eating enjoyable, which means you'll actually stick with it. I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't cheese high in fat? Isn't it unhealthy? Here's the truth: fat is not the enemy. In fact, the right kinds of fat are essential for hormone production, and hormones like testosterone and growth hormone are key drivers of muscle growth and repair. The fats found in these cheeses are natural, healthy fats that your body actually knows how to use. And let's not forget, these cheeses are nutrient dense. That means you don't need to eat a huge amount to get the benefits. A moderate portion goes a long way. Another concern some people have is sodium. Yes, cheese contains sodium, but when you're eating whole, natural cheeses like cottage cheese, Parmesan, and feta in reasonable amounts, the benefits far outweigh the risks. And if you're pairing them with a diet rich in fresh vegetables, fruits, and plenty of water, your body will handle that sodium just fine. Remember, It's not about obsessing over single nutrients. It's about looking at the big picture. And the big picture here is that these cheeses deliver protein, minerals, and vitamins in a form that's delicious, convenient, and effective for fighting sarcopenia. Let's paint a picture. Imagine starting your day with a simple breakfast, maybe a vegetable omelette, topped with a sprinkle of feta. At lunch, you could enjoy a fresh salad with a little parmesan grated over the top. And before bed, a small bowl of cottage cheese with some berries. That's 3 meals, 3 opportunities to feed your muscles, and it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like living well. Over time, those choices add up. Your muscles stay stronger, your bones more resilient, your energy higher. You're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years. And this is the point I really want to drive home. Fighting sarcopenia isn't about chasing youth or trying to look like a bodybuilder. It's about maintaining the freedom to live life on your own terms. It's about being able to travel without worrying about luggage being too heavy, to garden without pain, to climb stairs without fear, to pick up your grandkids with joy instead of hesitation. These moments are priceless, and they depend on one thing: your strength. By choosing foods that support your muscles, like these 3 cheeses, you're investing in that strength every single day. But let me ask you something. What's the alternative? Doing nothing? Ignoring the problem? Hoping it doesn't happen to you? The reality is, if you don't actively work against sarcopenia, it will happen. It's part of biology, but you have the power to slow it down, to fight it, and even to reverse it. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need expensive supplements or extreme diets. Sometimes it's as simple as making better choices with the foods you already enjoy. Let's circle back for a moment. Cottage cheese for slow digesting protein and leucine. Parmesan for its muscle-friendly protein, calcium, and vitamin K2. Feta for its CLA, B vitamins, and digestive ease. 3 cheeses, 3 powerful allies in the fight against muscle loss. The beauty of this is that you can easily incorporate them into meals you already love. You don't need to overhaul your diet or give up flavor. In fact, your meals might become more satisfying. And when food is satisfying, you're more likely to stay consistent, and consistency is the key to results. As we wrap up, I want you to think about your own life. Where do you see yourself in 10, 20, or even 30 years? Do you see yourself traveling the world, walking along the beach, chasing after your grandkids? Or do you see yourself struggling, relying on others, and missing out on the things that make life rich? The choices you make today, even small ones like adding the right cheese to your meals, shape that future. You have more control than you realize. The next time you're at the store, instead of walking past the cheese section with guilt or hesitation, stop and think. Remember that those blocks and tubs of cheese aren't just indulgences, they're tools. Tools to keep you strong, independent, and vibrant. Tools to help you fight sarcopenia and build a body that serves you well for decades to come. And all you have to do is enjoy them. That's the beauty of it. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they start thinking about health, nutrition, or building muscle in later years is approaching it with the mindset of restriction. They believe that in order to stay healthy or fight off sarcopenia, they have to give up all the foods they love, cut out flavor, and live on bland meals that feel like punishment. And while that might sound noble in theory, in practice, it almost never lasts. Our minds and our emotions are deeply tied to the foods we eat. Food isn't just fuel for the body, it's also comfort, memory, connection, and pleasure. And when you ignore that side of food, when you strip away all enjoyment, you set yourself up for failure. because at some point you get tired of forcing yourself and you give up. That's why so many diets crash and burn. They don't fail because the science is wrong. They fail because they ignore the human element. This is where cheese plays a surprisingly powerful role in supporting consistency, because cheese isn't just nutritious. It's also one of those foods that almost everyone enjoys. It's creamy, savory, satisfying, and it adds richness to meals that makes them feel complete. When you can include foods you actually crave and look forward to eating, you don't feel deprived. And when you don't feel deprived, you're far more likely to stick to your plan. This is the psychological key that so many people miss. Success in health doesn't come from short bursts of perfection. It comes from steady, consistent effort over years. And the way you achieve that consistency is by making sure your eating habits feel good, not like a chore. Think about the times in your life when you felt the happiest with your food choices. It wasn't when you were eating something you hated. It wasn't when you forced yourself into a rigid plan you dreaded. It was when you found that sweet spot where food tasted good, satisfied you, and you knew it was also doing your body good. That's exactly what happens when you allow yourself to enjoy foods like cheese as part of a muscle-supporting lifestyle. You don't wake up dreading breakfast. You don't look at your lunch with a sigh. You look forward to meals because they taste amazing. And that positive anticipation is one of the strongest motivators for behavior. If you're excited about your food, you'll keep eating it. If you're bored or miserable, you won't. It's that simple. Let's take cottage cheese as an example. Imagine you're trying to eat more protein to fight sarcopenia, but the thought of another chicken breast makes you groan. Now imagine instead a bowl of cottage cheese topped with fresh pineapple or berries. Suddenly, it's not just protein, it's dessert. Like, it's creamy, it's refreshing, and it feels like a treat. But your body is still getting the slow, digesting protein it needs to repair muscle overnight. That shift from obligation to enjoyment is the psychological trick that makes it stick. The same thing happens with Parmesan. Instead of forcing yourself to eat plain vegetables, you grate a little Parmesan over the top. Now the vegetables aren't boring. They're savory, satisfying, and something you actually want to eat. The nutrition didn't change. Your mindset did. This is so important because when you enjoy your meals, you activate reward pathways in your brain. Dopamine is released when you anticipate and consume pleasurable foods. That dopamine reinforces the behavior, telling your brain, yes, do that again. That's why comfort foods are so powerful. They literally rewire your brain to crave them. But here's the key. When your comfort foods also deliver protein, calcium, and muscle protecting nutrients, you're rewiring your brain in the right direction. You're teaching yourself to crave foods that not only make you happy in the moment, but also keep you strong in the long run. This is why cheese can be such a game changer. It bridges the gap between health and pleasure. So often people fall into an all or nothing trap. They either eat healthy but feel miserable, or they eat unhealthy and feel guilty. That tug of war burns people out. But when you can blur the line, when you can make healthy food enjoyable and indulgent, the war ends. Suddenly, it's not about choosing between health and pleasure. It's about combining them. And that's when people stick with it, not for weeks, not for months, but for life. Let's look at feta. Feta is tangy, flavorful, and it transforms a simple salad into something crave-worthy. Instead of forcing down a bowl of greens because you know you should, you actually want that salad because the feta makes it taste so good. And because you want it, you eat it more often, And because you eat it more often, you consistently get the protein, the B vitamins, the calcium, and the CLA that support your muscles and metabolism. It's a win-win, and it all starts with enjoyment. And it's not just about taste, it's also about emotional connection. Food is tied to memories, family, culture, and joy. Maybe Parmesan reminds you of family dinners. Maybe cottage cheese was something you enjoyed as a kid. Maybe feta reminds you of a vacation or a favorite restaurant. When you eat those foods, you're not just nourishing your body, you're nourishing your spirit. That emotional satisfaction makes the habit feel deeper, more meaningful. And meaningful habits are the ones you carry with you year after year. This is why enjoying your food isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Because enjoyment fuels consistency, and consistency is the only way to see lasting results. You can lift weights, but if your diet isn't consistent, your muscles won't rebuild properly. You can eat healthy for a week, but if you can't sustain it, it won't matter. The secret to fighting sarcopenia isn't short bursts of effort. It's daily habits that you can keep up forever. And the psychological power of enjoying your food is what makes that possible. Now let's talk about the flip side for a moment. What happens when you don't enjoy your food? When every meal feels like a sacrifice? At first, you might power through with motivation, but motivation fades. Willpower runs out. And when it does, you're left with resentment, cravings, and eventually rebellion. That's when people binge, quit, or swing back to unhealthy habits. And every time that cycle repeats, it gets harder to try again. But when you enjoy your food, you never feel the need to rebel. You never feel deprived. Instead of saying, I can't have this, you're saying, I get to have this. That small shift in language changes everything. It's the difference between fighting against yourself and working with yourself. Cheese plays directly into that shift. It feels indulgent, but it's also nourishing. It feels like a treat, but it's actually medicine for your muscles. So instead of battling cravings, you're satisfying them in a way that moves you toward your goals. That's the psychological sweet spot. And when you hit that spot consistently, you create a lifestyle rather than a temporary plan. I want you to really picture what consistency looks like over time. It's not about perfection. It's about the daily rhythm of choices that feel good enough to repeat. A sprinkle of Parmesan here, a bowl of cottage cheese there, a crumble of feta on a salad. Small actions that don't feel forced. Day after day, month after month, those actions stack up. They build strength, resilience, and confidence. And you don't have to drag yourself through the process because you actually like it. That's the psychological foundation of lasting health. And the beauty is, this isn't just about your body, it's also about your mind. When you consistently enjoy your food, you build a positive relationship with eating. You stop fearing it. You stop feeling guilty. You stop swinging between extremes. You start to trust yourself. That confidence spills over into other areas of your life. You feel more in control, more capable, more optimistic. And all of that makes it easier to keep going, to stay consistent, to keep choosing the foods that serve you. So when we talk about eating cheese daily to fight sarcopenia, it's not just about the nutrients in cheese. It's about the psychology of pleasure, satisfaction, and sustainability. It's about creating a pattern that doesn't feel like work, that doesn't feel like deprivation, but feels natural, enjoyable, and rewarding. That's what makes the difference between someone who maintains their strength well into later life and someone who struggles. Because the truth is, the best plan isn't the one that looks perfect on paper. It's the one you can actually follow. and you're far more likely to follow a plan that includes foods you love. This is why the simple act of allowing yourself to eat and enjoy cheese can be such a powerful tool in your health journey. Because it aligns science with psychology, body with mind, health with happiness. And when all those things come together, consistency becomes effortless. And when consistency becomes effortless, results become inevitable. When we think about the foods that shape our health, we often imagine green vegetables, fruits, or maybe lean meats. But we rarely think about something like cheese as being a cornerstone of longevity, strength, and vitality. And yet, if we really step back and consider the role food plays in our lives, it becomes clear that the foods we actually enjoy are the ones that stick with us long term, because health is not just about nutrients on a chart. It's about habits, routines, and the small choices you make every day that add up over months, years, and even decades. This is why cheese can become such a powerful ally in the fight against sarcopenia. It's not just that it contains protein, calcium, vitamin K2, or other vital nutrients. It's that cheese is satisfying, it's comforting, it's versatile, and it's something you can see yourself eating consistently, which is the single most important factor in sustaining any healthy habit. Imagine trying to maintain a diet that feels like punishment. Boiled chicken, plain rice, tasteless steamed vegetables. Sure, they're healthy, but how long can you realistically keep that up before your taste buds beg for something more? Compare that to meals where you add just a little cottage cheese for creaminess, or crumble some tangy feta over a salad, or grate parmesan over roasted vegetables. All of a sudden, the meal comes alive, and instead of feeling like you're sacrificing, you feel like you're indulging. That shift is what creates sustainability. And sustainability is what protects you against muscle loss, weakness, and decline over time. Because when you enjoy the foods that protect your muscles, you'll keep eating them. And when you keep eating them, your body stays nourished, your strength stays supported, and you maintain that critical foundation of independence. Now, one of the things people underestimate about muscle is just how connected it is to everything else. Your muscles aren't just for moving your body. They're a reservoir of amino acids that your immune system can draw on during illness. They regulate your metabolism, helping you control blood sugar and avoid diabetes. They protect your bones by absorbing impact. They even influence your mood and brain health, because being able to move freely, exercise, and stay active sends powerful signals to your nervous system that keep it sharp. When you lose muscle, you don't just lose strength, you lose resilience across your entire body. That's why sarcopenia is so devastating. And that's why something as deceptively simple as eating cheese daily can be so transformative. You're not just putting food in your mouth, you're feeding an entire system that keeps you alive, engaged, and capable. Think about how small habits ripple out into the bigger picture. Let's say you add just one serving of cheese to your meals each day. That might give you 10 to 15 extra grams of high-quality protein, plus a boost of calcium, B vitamins, and healthy fats. On paper, that might not look like much, but over a week, that's more than 100 grams of additional protein. Over a month, that's 400 grams. Over a year, thousands of grams of extra raw material your body can use to maintain and rebuild muscle. And if you compare two people over the course of 10 years, one who consistently gave their body those resources and one who didn't, the difference in strength, mobility, and independence would be night and day. One might still be traveling, walking, enjoying hobbies, and spending quality time with family, while the other struggles to get out of a chair or needs help with basic tasks. It's not exaggeration. It's the reality of how habits accumulate. And what makes cheese especially powerful is that it's not just protein. It's nutrient density combined with pleasure. Parmesan brings vitamin K2, which ensures calcium goes into your bones and muscles instead of calcifying your arteries. Cottage cheese brings slow, digesting casein, which feeds your muscles overnight while you sleep. Feta offers conjugated linoleic acid and B vitamins that protect your lean mass and support your nervous system. When you rotate or combine these cheeses, you're not only hitting different taste notes, you're also layering multiple nutritional benefits. It's like giving your muscles, bones, and nerves a team of defenders rather than relying on just one. Some people might say, but what about the fat? What about the salt? What about the calories? And here's where perspective matters. The danger isn't in the food itself, it's in the excess and imbalance. If you eat half a block of cheese in one sitting and pair it with processed foods, sure, that's not ideal. But if you integrate modest portions into balanced meals, a spoonful of cottage cheese with fruit, a crumble of feta on vegetables, a sprinkle of parmesan on whole grains, you're not overloading your body, you're supporting it. In fact, the fats in cheese help you absorb fat, soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, which are essential for health. And the satisfaction factor of cheese can actually prevent overeating because when a meal feels complete and enjoyable, you're less likely to keep searching for snacks. In this way, cheese doesn't just nourish the body, it also nourishes the mind by satisfying cravings in a healthier way. This is why I keep coming back to the idea of lifestyle. Fighting sarcopenia is not about finding one miracle food or doing one extreme workout. It's about weaving habits into your daily life that you can carry with you year after year. And eating cheese is one of those habits that's not only easy to maintain but enjoyable. You don't need willpower to eat cheese. You want to eat it. That's the beauty. It's a small change that doesn't feel like a change, but it pays massive dividends over time. Now picture yourself 5, 10, or 20 years from now. Do you want to be someone who dreads the future because your body doesn't cooperate with you anymore? Or do you want to be someone who looks forward to each day because you know you have the energy, the strength, and the confidence to do what you love? Imagine being in your 70s, traveling to new places, exploring markets, climbing steps, enjoying dinners with friends, never worrying if your body can keep up. Imagine playing with your grandchildren, lifting them up, laughing with them, without any hesitation or fear of hurting yourself. Imagine walking into the kitchen, preparing a meal, and knowing that the simple, delicious foods you're enjoying are fueling your independence for years to come. That's the vision I want to leave you with, because it's not fantasy. It's real, it's achievable, and it starts with choices as simple as adding the right foods to your plate. And what could be simpler, more satisfying, and more realistic than cheese? It's not exotic, it's not hard to find, it doesn't require special preparation. It's right there in your grocery store, ready to be part of your life. And by making it a consistent part of your meals, you're not just eating for today, you're investing in tomorrow. You're creating a future where you remain strong, youthful, and independent, living life fully on your own terms with energy and vitality that carries you through the decades ahead.